Okay, I'm gonna try to go ahead and try to vlog before my phone dies. If it dies and it's just like abruptly stopped, it's because it died. Okay, if the video just stops, I mean. Okay, so I only got 6% of battery. So this is what happened today, and it's probably one of the most eventful days I've had in a very long time. Today's Elliot Morgan's last day on SourceFed, and the feels, my little heart. If you guys don't know, Elliot is on this show called SourceFed that was started by Philip DeFranco 2 years ago, and I've been watching since day one. And Elliot, like, to see his progression, it's funny, if you go watch their last video today that he was in, they do a little montage for him, and he's totally grown a lot. But he was my favorite. He's so witty, so great. It's like, he's just such an all-around good person. I've got to chat with him at VidCon. Like, he's an amazing guy. Today's his last day. It was just the feels, man. Anyway, so that happened today. Another one, I got a haircut. Okay, so have you guys ever went to go get your haircut and like, I don't get a lot. I get one like every month and a half, maybe. I don't go to get a haircut a lot. Unless something big's gonna happen. Tomorrow is my friend's birthday, and I was like, oh, let me go get my haircut. Because it was getting a little shaggy. I was like, let me get a haircut. Yes, and my head is super shiny. I know. But I went to go get my haircut, and I never call for appointments. Everybody's like, why don't you set up an appointment? Blah, blah, blah. I don't care, because I'm never in like such a hurry that I'm just like, you know what? I better call because my time is so important. I don't care. Things happen. People get busy. I don't care. I just go and wait. And I don't know. It's never been a big thing to me that I had to make an appointment. Today, I'm going to make an appointment because I'm like, you know what? I actually do kind of have some things to do today, but why not? Let me just see if Cindy's there. Cindy is the girl that, she used to cut my hair like once or twice. Like, she cut my hair maybe like 3 times tops, but I always liked the way she did it. The first time she did it, I was like, awesome. And then I went in again, and she was there, and I was like, oh, can I have like Cindy cut my hair? And like, Cindy was really badass. And then like one day I was just having a super shitty day, and it was like right before my brother's wedding, and I was like super stressed out because I had to do his slideshow, and I was super stressed out, and I was like, oh my god. So I go and I get my hair cut, and I go to Knockouts. If you guys don't know what Knockouts it is, it's like the Hooters of like haircut places here in Texas, and it's just like, you know, girls cutting your hair, that like Hooters. It's kind of like that, just not as Hooterish. But it's like that. But like I just went one time because everybody's like, oh, you should check it out. I checked it out and I liked it. It was alright. But like, she just hooked it up one day, like, because you can pay like $20-something and get like a massage and a haircut. Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, one day I was just paying for a normal haircut, and she just hooked it up with all of that, and like she was awesome. So I was like, all right, this girl's cutting my hair from now on. She was always booked up like all the time. And so, like, I'd always just go with other people. Anyways, so that was that. I called today. She moved to Dallas. They were like, oh, Cindy's no longer with us. She moved to Dallas. And I'm like, that sucks. And so, like, kind of threw my whole day off. They're like, you want to make an appointment with somebody else? And I was like, I'll just walk in. And they're like, okay, well, we have a lot of appointments at 1:30, so just to let you know. I was like, all right, I'll just take my chances. I didn't go. So I decided to go back to the place that I usually got my hair cut for the first time when I decided to get this faux hawk kind of style. I've known, my mom's got her hair cut by the same guy for like the last 20 years? I don't know. I've known him like my whole life almost. My mom's always got his hair done by him. And so I always go to him for like suggestions. I was like, you know what, I want a new hairstyle. I'm gonna go see if he's there. Maybe I'll have him cut my hair and give me suggestions. I was gonna get this today, the same haircut. But I kind of want to go to another haircut style. And so I was going to go get suggestions. He was like, hey, how you been, blah, blah, blah. But he was going at lunch. So they're like, he was like, so-and-so's going to cut your hair. And it was just this older lady, didn't know if, you know, she was like, she's really good at, you know, doing the clippers and all that jazz. I was like, all right. So she was cutting my hair. And I didn't really, like, talk to her much. I mean, I talked to her a little bit, but there just wasn't much for us to talk about. But the guy next to her, his same name was Nathan. I walked in, and he was the guy, like, at the cash register. He was like, I like your shirt. Ha! Doctor Who! Of course, cool guy. And then, like, he's not from San Antonio. It's, like, his second year here or something like that. But he was like, yeah. He was like, I was like, yeah, Fiesta's going on. I was like, is that why y'all are slow? Blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, he's like, I've never been. I just moved here, blah blah. He was like, I just kind of want to go because I think it'd be cool to vlog. And I was like, what? He was like, oh, vlog? He was like, and it seemed like he was about to explain it. I was like, YouTube? And he was, yeah. I was like, you make vlogs on YouTube? And he was like, yeah. I was like, dude, so do I. And he was like, oh, really? And so we just started talking about YouTube. And he was like, you don't meet many people that do YouTube stuff here in San Antonio. I was like, yeah, and the ones that you do are douchebags, right? He was like, are you talking about JC Kalen? I'm like, yes! And like, I don't know if you guys like JC Kalen or not, but he seems like a total doucher, and that's how he comes off in his videos, and all of those guys do. But whatever, it's just what they do. It's serious. He comes off a total doucher. It's not a lie. But anyways, he's like the only big person from San Antonio. And so we were just talking about YouTube, and he was like, oh, he wants to be like a makeup artist, and like I told him how I do the Andi stuff, and he was like, oh, that's really awesome, I'm gonna check out your channel, and blah blah. So we really hit it off, so that was cool. Hairstylist, makeup artist, and he was like, maybe we should collab sometime, and I'm like, let's do it. So that was cool. I met a YouTuber who seems pretty awesome. But yeah, so then I went to the Apple store because I had to go buy a Thunderbolt cable. I'm really surprised this hasn't died yet. To go buy a Thunderbolt cable, and for the video game channel, because I'm gonna try out this new software right now. And yeah, so I was doing that, and what happened? Oh, I went into Apple, and okay, first off, if you like Apple or don't, that's totally your choice. But I walk into Apple today, the Apple store, and I absolutely love their diversity in their workplace. Like, they are a super high-end electronics store, and they do not care what you look like. Because, okay, so I went in, and they always greet you when you come in, and they were like, well, can we help you today? I was like, dude, I just need a Thunderbolt cable. And he's like, oh, it's over there. So I go over there, and then I go over there, and of course there's another Apple employee standing in that area. And she's like, how can I help you today? And very gorgeous girl that is just there. Super sweet, too. And I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for a Thunderbolt cable. And, like, what was it? Oh, and she was like, oh, I don't see any. And she was like, we probably have them in the back. At that moment, I noticed she didn't have her hand. Like, well, she had like a birth defect, so she only had one hand. And I was all like, oh, whoa. I was like, that's awesome, cool. I was like, I always find it interesting when people have like, just like, I don't know. I don't even know how to phrase that. Like, I'm lost. You know what I mean? I always find it interesting when you come across something that isn't of the norm, at least your normal life. Interesting. I don't know. You know what I'm saying, right? Anyways, so I come off a girl, like, she's missing her hand or anything. And I was like, oh, cool. Super nice. She was so sweet. And she was like, oh, she went into the back. And she was getting the stuff. And she was getting the Thunderbolt cable. And, like, walks out this dude. This dude walks out of the back. Super tatted from, like, neck down. All the way to his arms and his hands. Super tatted Apple employee. And I was like, that's awesome. Because I'm pretty sure that guy has a lot of trouble getting work. Which sucks, but it's the truth. I used to have dreadlocks. Couldn't get a job anywhere. And so I was like, that's so badass. And she came back, she got me my stuff, and actually the Thunderbolt cables were right there. She was like, I don't know why they're not out here. And she was like, oh, there they are. And then we were talking for a little bit. She was really awesome, super sweet girl. Gorgeous, by the way. And so I just love that, like, Apple had all of these, like, diverse people there that a lot, like, I guess society or, like, the workplace might look down upon. Like, I mean, it's honest. That's how the world works, and it sucks that, like, if you're super tatted, people automatically judge you off of that, which is retarded and stupid, and I shouldn't use that word, but it's stupid. Like, people shouldn't do that. And same thing if you have, like, a disability, like you're missing a hand. Some people will be like, oh, you kind of need to have 2 hands for this job. No. Like, so I love the Apple Store for that. I'm so glad that they're so diverse in who they pick to work at their store, and it's just awesome. So I really like that. But anyways, so that's it. 10-minute vlog almost. I'm out of breath. I'm glad this thing didn't die. Anyway, so that was my day. Probably the most eventful day. I still need to film, but I'm probably going to do that in the morning because I'm super just not in the mood to do that right now. I'll probably set up everything, but I just won't do it today. Anyways, I'm going to go. So subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the Music Money channel, subscribe to blah, blah, blah. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bam! It didn't work.